You might have noticed that in a lot of FPS games, what you see on screen doesn't always match what the other players see, and that your legs are often missing. This is down to the way that most FPS games manage the first-person perspective. Traditionally, games render the player's hands and the items they're holding separately from their actual body. In fact, usually their body isn't even rendered. This allows games to avoid a lot of the headaches that come with attaching a camera to the player's model. Drawing just the hands to the screen gives a bunch of benefits that can improve the player's experience, such as easily modifying the field of view that the gun is rendered at, whilst maintaining a large field of view for rendering the rest of the world. This prevents the distortion that high field of views can have on 3D models, keeping the game visually appealing. As the gun is being rendered on top of the rest of the objects on the screen, we can ensure that the gun never intersects with parts of the game world, preventing any strange clipping through objects. There's also a slight performance boost for not having to render the player's body. So why don't games use a full body system? What are the headaches that come with attempting to simulate the player's body? Your first thought might be to attach the camera to the player's head and then rotate the player using that camera. However, if we take a look at the result of this, you can see there's an unbelievable amount of camera shake. Why is this though? We don't view the world in this way, so why does our character? The first reason is that in real life, the eyes counter-rotate to ensure they stay fixed on what they're looking at. This can be easily replicated by making our virtual set of eyes stay fixed on a point in the distance. Secondly, the brain eliminates a lot of the bobbing of the head. This isn't an easy process to replicate in game. However, if you look at the way that birds stabilise their vision, they do it by stabilising their whole head. We can apply the same logic to our player's head, applying counter-translations to stabilise it. If you're interested in how I did this, I'm using a custom package called Final IK, which handles a lot of these calculations. By applying these two concepts, the player's head no longer looks like a jerky mess, and is now able to be used for a first-person game without inducing any motion sickness. This is essentially the base for how the entire body can be used for a first-person shooter. As you can see, there's a lot more to set up than the other method. Something that must be considered for this technique to be effectively used is that weapons are now actually in the game world, and therefore can clip through objects, so the gun must be pushed out of the way when the player is too close to a wall. There are some nice benefits that come along with simulating a full body awareness system that can really add to a game, such as free looking, giving the player the ability to move their head independently of their body when holding a given key, having a more realistic feel to the character due to the animations reflecting the proper movement of a human, being able to see your feet, and only having to create one set of animations, which also means that the other players in the game will see exactly what you see. I haven't seen many games that use a full body simulation. Some notable games are DayZ, Arma, and Escape from Tarkov, all which strive for realistic gameplay. I've created a similar system to these games which will be used for Rift Division. The player is completely simulated using one animation rig, and I'm pretty happy how it's turned out so far. If you enjoyed this video, you should go watch my last video where I break down why modern games appear to be so blurry. If you're interested in the game I'm creating, check out my introduction devlog here, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.